essential thing I learned in English 303 was to ask questions, was to look at a writer's writing and really look at it critically and ask them, what do you mean? I understand this. Is that what you wanted me to understand? Am I getting from this what you want me to get? And if not, how can we change that? How can I help you be more precise and more articulate?
Well, two things. The first is actually having the theoretical sort of foundation to put everything you use in. It's really difficult to know how to deal with individual students in different sorts of settings, and so having those theories and having the knowledge of the people who have been there and done it has been really, really helpful, as well as being able to respond on your toes, being quick. So
I'm really surprised about the quality of our textbooks because I expected them to be sort of the lowest common denominator of what you could expect, and I think you could easily use them for a graduate level class.
There was a lot of benefit to taking 303. Well, I learned a lot of grammar terms I didn't know before.
The Writing Center working there has actually helped me with my own writing because I didn't used to really get much feedback on my writing. I would pretty much do it right before it was due. And so kind of adding that into the process, like, hey, can you take a look at this? Or even sitting down with another consultant and looking at my writing has really helped me, I think, both ways. I've become a better consultant by going through the process myself as a writer.
Working with other writers that come into the Writing Center consultations has helped my own writing, just simply, I think, because it engages your mind.
I think in terms of my writing, I've always been really, really nervous about sharing my writing, and still am, even after being a consultant, but I'm so much more comfortable with the feedback I'm getting and how helpful that is as a writer.
I think being a consultant has influenced my own writing in that I've grown more confident in my own ideas and exploring my own ideas and not being afraid or doubtful of my own writing process, and recognizing that everybody's process is different and no process is better than another.
I'd say my greatest challenge is sticking to what the writer wants to work on, because I really have a tendency to veer off topic and start talking about something completely different. You know, if they ask for grammar, try to stick to grammar, but I might go off. So
the hardest thing I think about being a Writing Center consultant is balancing the fact that you are this authority figure, but you're still a peer writer, and that's really what you want to come across.
I think my biggest challenge as a consultant so far has been probably using some restraint when helping the writer, making sure that you still you don't get too caught up in helping them, that they're not producing their own ideas and injecting them into the paper themselves.
I think we talk a lot about not knowing what the paper's going to be about when a writer comes in, and about a student you've never met before with a paper you haven't read from a class you haven't taken, and then in the space of 30 to 60 minutes you've got to create a coherent response to the paper, and one that ideally makes the writer want to go back and revise a paper. And so I think that's it's exhausting work in a lot of ways, and it's difficult to try to organize your thoughts and get that response and look for questions and ideas that can prompt the writer to think about new ways to revise the paper and to get him or her interested in going back to the paper.
So the thing I really, really enjoyed the most about working in the Writing Center is just actually watching the writing process unfold itself. I adore writing, and it's been really fun and really helpful for me to actually sit down with students and see how writing affects them in different ways.
The thing I like best about being a consultant is when it is the dawning realization students have when something that had been really complicated for them, something they didn't get, and they finally understand it.
What I enjoy the absolute most about working in the Writing Center is the people. without a doubt. The clients, the writers, the other consultants, the Writing Center community as a whole, working with people on Peer-Centered or on W-Center or going to conferences. It's a fantastic, engaging, enthusiastic group of people that not only make you feel welcome, they make you feel valuable, that your insights are worthy.
Even for as tiring as and demanding as the work is, I think there is no more rewarding experience than sitting down and talking with a writer and figuring out something with them about their paper. And those aha moments that the consultants talk about, those happen. You sit there with a writer and something in the conversation, some question, some idea, suddenly pops up and leads to an idea for revision, to do something else with the paper. And I think the best times for me are when a writer has that moment and you can see it, and they pick up a pen or pencil and they start to write, and you're thinking, and as they do that thinking, then I sit back, and I think I've learned not to say anything, and to know that the conversation has led them to go someplace else with the paper, and those are really good moments.
The good thing about being a Writing Center consultant is that you get to really have a lot of great conversations with people that you might not otherwise meet. Through working in the Writing Center, I've been able to talk to medical students and first-year students and exchange students from other places, and people that I wouldn't have otherwise had conversations with had I just been on my own little Mary program and stayed really in the English discipline. So I really enjoy getting to know a lot of people, other tutors coming from other backgrounds, and the writers that come in. A lot of great conversations. That's what the Writing Center is about.
I think one of the most unexpected things about working in the Writing Center is the sense of community that you gain, and you realize that there are people who are concerned about other aspects of education that are outside of the classroom. They care about students and how they're doing in school, how they're doing in their own writing process, and there's a sense of community among consultants. You make friends that you normally wouldn't have, you have graduate friends and friends from your own English department, and it's really, really fun.
About being a Writing Center consultant that I find particularly useful for myself is that as a very shy person, I'm not very good in front of a classroom if I have to get up and make some kind of, talk to a lot of people at once, but I'm pretty good on the one-on-ones, so it gives me an opportunity to kind of put my knowledge out there, help myself become a more confident speaker as well as a more confident writer.
I'd say the sense of community, definitely, because you do get to form friendships and you do get to, meet people, and before I worked there, I didn't know many people, and now I have some new friends.
An unexpected benefit has been opportunities in going to conferences and working with a larger organization. When I first came to the Writing Center, my idea was simply to work with writers in the Writing Center here at Boise State. I didn't even expect to get paid. I figured it was something that we volunteered to do. But as I worked with it and as I became more involved in the Writing Center, I realized there was a much broader community that I was able to become part of that has been very rewarding.